AI where if you have a 10 points of using a make on a film or any animation film, now you keep going on and on and see, okay, this particular point, let's start from this. Like even the research part, I can use AI. Then go to the scripting part, I can use AI. Then I move to the another part, and then I can use, and then keep growing. And you said, okay, now I don't need a machine, or everything can be done on AI. So okay, before I jump into the next part,
I just want to
we
correct. Not I don't need a machine. Now I still need the machine. Now I don't need a people or resource or specialist for that.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the machines are already there. Okay, so the
Yeah.
humans are
The specialist to do it. Yeah.
specialist job is converted. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll correct that. So you can say that, okay, so you no longer need a human for doing such things which you can do with the machines now with artificial
We
intelligence.
no
Okay,
longer need the skilled resources that we used to look for.
okay,
We can manage it. If you are the most skilled person, you can manage it most often.
you are
If you are judgmental, if you have the wisdom to agree, like, dislike, you know what you want, then you pretty much have the help that you require at this point.
okay. So I get the your pre-AI version to it. Before I jump into the next part of it, which is like how you made this and we share how we're gonna do it. I want to talk about your transition period as well. How was the transition? You know, when we're integrating a new tool and we produce like a visuals quickly and things like that. What is the biggest human challenge you think that convincing is something stopping you? Shall I jump on? Is it like I don't know. What do you feel on that transition period? Are you excited? Are you nervous in this transition period?
Right now, I'm excited. I'm not
Okay.
nervous. I'm confident.
I'm asking this question because people, if I get on out of this, like, are people going to lose the job because of the AI then? If you're not using
The
AI, then.
same thing. I mean, we are having a leverage. Now, it's also a little demand and supply complexity question, like how many trained resources are available to do one particular job. And if that
Mhm.
particular job is replaced by AI or machines, then all the resources have to retrain themselves to find something better to do. Now, coming
Mhm.
back to that question, which is like an industry and economics question, people now, the so called solopreneur or entrepreneur period booming, this is it.
Mhm.
A solopreneur or an entrepreneur would be saying, I don't have this, I don't have this, I wish I had extra money to hire some people to help me out to do this. No, you pretty much 1/10 of the cost you can still do. Instead of hiring a team, you can hire one person. If you have the budget, you can do. So what happened is all the big companies with a pretty low resource of what do you call the less trained resource or the inexperienced resource is not required. The managers can do the job of the entire team because of the AI.
Hmm.
And these managers are also again capable, if they get laid off by another manager, are capable of starting their own company, a technology company, on their own, because they know what needs to be done and they have the tools in front of them. So if I'm calling myself a creative director or a director or a ad creation or a animation movie creation or anything, previously I
Mhm.
wanted a team, I wanted a supervisor, I wanted an artist, I wanted everybody, a rigger, this, that. Now I feel like I can produce an end product small enough or big enough by myself. If I get resources, I will scale it up. A movie still requires a lot of people to work. Every single shot, a good shot can be made in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So still it requires a day. It's not like you go and come back with it. It requires iteration, it requires consistency, it requires storytelling to work as a part. So generating one image or generating a single movie clip without correlation with anything else is easy. But putting them all together in a storytelling form and make them work in sync, that's where the real part of working in sync and a bigger team comes. Movie making process with the software technology, automation, and everything, we can make it at 1/10 cost, but we still need people. So those skilled resources still required. If you lose a job, you just have to rethink about what I can do, how I can invent myself and come back and give to the society. Because end of the day, AI is replacing humans only by the way they work, but the end consumer is still human. All the products you are making is supposed to help a
For the
human.
human, for the human.
For the
Yeah,
human, we are still a human based society. Our economics depend on population. Like the country is developing or not developing, only they look into the population and per capita income. If there is no humans, they do they per capita AI income? No, the AI don't take any.
that's a very good answer. Okay, I think we have enough about the how pre-AI era and what do you think about AI and what about the animation and everything. I think we should let's jump into the lively workflow when you can share the screen and you let us know how things we can do with the AI. If somebody's from the not from the animation and he want to make something for his for the education purpose or maybe for his kids, how he or she can do it. If you can share your screen and you can give some idea of what you
Yeah,
did
I
for
would
it.
like to jump into that, but still there is a missing point of
Sure, sure.
introduction which I
Okay.
would like to finish off, which
Okay.
somewhere got dissolved in our conversation. This
Not an issue.
is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
actual showing of it, but I'll tell you where the journey with the AI and implementing into my process of doing it then and there. So with the AI, I started researching on working on the old films and removing dust and scratches which manually got implemented through the film rolling process, if you know what I'm saying. The projector mechanically creates scratches on the film, and these dust and scratches can be removed. They had a proprietary software called Diamond Scratch Remover, which is still using AI, but they don't tell it outside. But then that kind of proprietary software used to it's lakhs and lakhs of money or like millions of dollars according to that. Instead of that, this AI came up as a white paper. That's where I installed the Python, PyTorch, and started running the images to remove it. That's when my
Mm.
first AI interaction at a hardcore level is like installing it locally and running the model by supplying it the images. It started
Okay.
removing the dust and scratch and give it back to me. So that's where the AI first got introduced. And then coloring of black and white images. You give it one colored image, like entire black and white movie, one single shot which doesn't have big changes, then you take the first frame and you paint it and then you give it to the software, AI software. It implements that same color to the entire movie. It started doing that. So I was working on these things and I called my friends back home and said, okay, here is this white papers models freely available using AI and everything. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
convert this or work on restoration of old video VHS and everything, we can easily do it now. It started enhancing, and also then came the upscaling. You take a 2K video and upscale it to 4K and 8K, which was previously not possible. But the AI started giving you that. In that regards,
Okay.
I bought a software and I started using it, and I was like amazed. Wow. Same with the images. Like if you have a 1K image and you scale it to 8K or 4K, it still had the details and everything. Back then,
Mm-hmm.
the model was like simply exaggerating the features that you have. Now the model has changed to a different diffusion strategy model, which is like it is going to add a creative detail to your not so detailed area. So it's going to value add. That's how the AI has come into image generation. So image generation is primarily what I got me interested, because I started working for this game BG backgrounds development and everything for a particular
Mm-hmm.
game studio. They were like hiring different BG artists and everything. I said, "Oh, there is AI,
Okay.
let me try and give you some BG." Once I started giving BG, they still was like, we want exactly like that. We wanted like that. We are not getting it. I'm like, it's not going to give you 100%, but you still use Photoshop and fix it and merge it and blend it. So I got what I wanted, and I also started using Photoshop to fix it and then give them what they wanted, which is like a still image editing, but you get 80% of the artistic work from the AI. That is where how I started introducing. Then they later cultivated the same pipeline and they started using it. Once they got the confidence thinking, okay, this is possible, so let's reduce the thing and get onto it. The game company, in fact, sold the game for a different gaming company after improving all the assets, and they had a very good sales pitch over it. That is one of the success story. And with that, I got confidence in images in AI. Again, at that time, we had the issue of consistent style, consistent characters not being able to be the same. Having a character same is the fundamental of at least even creating a cartoon strip or a storytelling storyboard. My interest in AI was like, okay, it is capable of giving you a story, very good.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do your research, very good. Because at that point of time, the AI was a disconnected model. It was not connected to the live internet. It was a disconnected local model. So you can ask for a story, you can ask certain things, and you can get it. So if you have a story outline, you can get a scene breakup, you can get everything. The basic paperwork or pains of having a writer, script writer, and a story writer was taken away. And even in
And
that position, we still needed a storyboarding ability. When it comes to storyboarding, again, I was even publishing my services as a storyboarding artist using AI. So
Okay.
if you give me the script, I'll create a storyboard for you. That was my idea. And for that purpose, I was starting to train so within the AI back then, what happens is like when I started AI, they were like manual shift gears. You literally have to choose and do everything. Right now we are having in autopilot, which is like you just tell it does most of the job, which is more easily child's play. You don't know what's happening in the background, but back then we had the control of choosing the model, choosing this, choosing the control net and everything. Now
Which year you talking about this one?
this is like 4 years ago. So 4 years
4 years.
ago we were using this model called diffusion models, and we have to choose the basic brain, and then on top of the basic brain we have to connect small skills or taste brains, which is like a control net. So you take the basic image generation and then you add a control net. This control net is nothing but a style generator. So you can tell I
Okay.
want realistic, you have a realistic control net. You have a
Mm.
tune, you have a tune control net. So many different people were training images and creating their own control nets on top of the
Mm.
basic model. So with the basic
Mm.
model, you add the control net and you get a stylized image, which could be tune or which right now they're talking about Ghibli style, right? That is also a control net. So the basic image gen takes the control net and adds the flavor and give. It's like having an ice cream, you add any kind of essence on top of it and you keep serving. But ice cream is the same, but the different flavors are the control nets. So this control net is one of the control net is called constant character generator or current character poser control net or something like that. Now, what the
Oh,
character poser control net does is you can pose the 3D model inside a small 3D work engine. It will take the capture the camera setting and pose of it and then supply it to the AI saying, this is the pose we needed. You just work on the
Mm-hmm.
pose. I don't
Mm.
have to describe my hand is like that, my leg is like that, my feet is like that, he's sitting like this, all this. You just give the pose and say, build on it. And this is the character I want, build on it. Or the character controller that you have created and trained, you supply it and it does the job and it gets it. Now, for the character, you have to take front, top, bottom, all different images and give it to it and then get it. That was the time period when I was starting. But right now,
Okay.
you give it one image, it generates everything. So you give
That's
it one reference image and say I need a character, it automatically does all the heavy load lifting behind. And if you are starting AI now, you don't know how much powerful and how much features are there inside. It is like you are starting to use, let's say you are starting to use Microsoft Word or anything. You don't know how much powerful it is. If you are only the previous generation user, you will know what a spell correct is, what a autocorrect is, what is alignment is, what is this. Even Excel sheet users, right? You don't
yeah.
know how much powerful it is at this point of time, because if you haven't used Lotus 123, which is the DOS prompt of Excel sheet, cell and everything, you don't know how powerful it is now, because now you drag, you get a data. Now you link, you get a data. Every single data is like automated now. So it's so powerful. Coming back to
So
our story.
yeah. So what I understand that because you've seen so much in making an animation as well, but even if you start using AI well before ahead of time of like people are using a Gemini, Nano Pro, Banana Pro, and things like okay, this is nothing. But you've seen the journey as well of building up AI, and you understand how things are moving up, and that's too much to understand. Being honest with you, I just get lost in this journey as well.
Yeah, I mean, even the AI developing itself or moving, even as I talk, there is another model that releases, which is like making my life a lot more easier. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? Like
mm,
when you contacted me and when we are talking now, and probably when this get released or something, there is always a big improvement which is making our life easier. Like if I need three different tools, end of the day now I need only one different tools. Now this control net I was talking, like the diffusion model and the control net, now
mhm,
all the chat models of image generation have
mhm,
incorporated them into themselves. Now they made an agentic AI which has the core engine of another large language model like Gemini or something.
mhm,
You see, there is one AI sitting on
mhm,
top of another AI, and
mhm,
then this one AI has control to image generation, control nets, all the other different AIs. But for you, it
mhm,
is just one AI. What happens is he's the guy in the counter. You're just saying, I want a pizza, I want whatever dish I want. He goes back, he looks at the right chef, he looks at the right person, he looks at talks, gets all the job done, and comes back and gives you simple thing. You feel like this one person is making so many things. No, he has a whole team behind it. That whole team is
Team.
encapsulated now into one. Yeah, and you're just seeing this. Okay, now Nano Banana. No, Nano Banana 3.1. That point one is having Gemini 3 inside, which you don't know. So if you give Nano Banana an image, it translates it, gives it to Gemini 3, Gemini 3 reads it and gives the answer, and then Nano Banana use the image generation apps to generate an image out of it,
Wow.
and then give it back to you. So like, say for putting it plain English, if you're writing a mathematical calculation in your handwriting and saying I need answer for this, it reads the mathematical calculation, gives it to Gemini 3 and produces the result, and the result gets converted to your handwriting, and the image generation does it back again. So now you have your handwriting image. So anything image based is now happening using Nano Banana, which is one of the powerful at this generation. Now again, we can talk about movie making. Movie making is the last part.
Okay.
Movie making is like what do you call cooking or baking or anything. Making the pie is the most important. Baking the pie is okay. You set the right temperature and it bakes. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
ingredients, where you put it, what spices you're putting, that is the keyframe shot. You still have to make the keyframes short, and then animating it is easy. Now,
Okay.
if you have a storytelling character in a storytelling pose, then what the character does after that is like that is the animation part. That is easy. Now, if you give AI the proper pose and proper frame and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and expect it to do certain things, it will do it easily. This is what you want. You give me the picture, I'll give you back this animation. It does the job. If you expect it to create the image and create the everything, it's not going to do a great job because it is too much. Also, AI is like it behaves pretty much like a human. If you're asking like 10 people inside a image generation or anything, it will not give quality for anybody. It will create everybody crappy. If you're asking two people, it will give beautiful result. If you're asking one person, that is excellent result, which is similar to human. If you are asking him to work on one character, he will give you excellent quality. If you give 10 character shot and ask him to give quality, he will be average quality for everybody. This is what I can do. You're asking too much, it's too much of pain for me. That's what it does. So here again, if you're really looking for good quality for all the 10 characters, you have to render all the 10 characters separately and composite them, which is going back to the school of learning the craft of compositing, editing, everything, music, and everything put together. So
So that gave me the answer of the another question which I was supposed to have, like adapting skills. So those animation skills are already there. The foundation fundamentals are still there, but you're gonna utilize it in the AI sense of it, like how to build a character and things like that, and you can still start using it in the
yeah, I
AI
mean,
era.
inference of quest is still yours. You're using this as a tool. Now, AI is a tool. You're choosing a smartest tool to do it. Same thing. You're going to take a Uber ride or you want to walk. It's all up to you. Sometimes walking is easier. Just walk. You don't have to use the AI.
Mm.
If you want to take
You
a
don't know.
Uber, you take a Uber. You choose the right tool. Now, everything under the AI that is again overkilling, overusing,
Mm-hmm.
you shouldn't go
Mm-hmm.
there. You still have to be the decision maker. What is required? What is the best tool for that, and everything. So coming back to, I feel like I got lost in the image generation part of it and then the movie making part of it. Right? So then I didn't even get access to Sora when it was released, but I was amazed by Sora, what it could make. Sora was the first video generation model by ChatGPT. That
Wow.
actually sparked everybody else to work on it. Now, Google
Mm.
was so good because Google had the benefit of
All the image.
YouTube, not all the
Yeah.
YouTube videos. So the
Mm.
biggest library Google can train themselves with all the data, they had it. And
They
they
had it.
had multiple languages. So nobody can compete with Google's sense of quality and everything because they don't have the model data resource for that.
No.
So Google had it. Now again, Google had it. It released a VO3, which is excellent model. By far, it is the most premium currently available model. We are lucky enough that somebody in Singapore and China and other nations are also equally doing it because
Mm-hmm.
the democracy comes from a competition. If you are like only one person doing it, then you don't have the liberty of choosing softwares. Much similar to the Blender I was saying, Autodesk Maya or These softwares were reducing price from thousands of dollars to hundreds of dollars only because the blender was. Otherwise, no. Right?
Otherwise, why should they do it?
Yeah. Also, Nano Banana is there, which is actually doing a good job. That's why Photoshop is doing ads now and implementing Nano Banana inside Photoshop. They know, like, future is like, okay, they still need. I would like to have Photoshop, but not at the expense of spending so much money
Paying
to keep them at
subscription
a
and everything.
subscription, which is not affordable most of the times, right? Like,
Mm.
that's a different commercial aspect of it. Now, coming back to where we left, the
Mhm.
evolution of AI, it got constantly maturing itself for every single process, for image generation, for consistent characters. And we have this liberalization of model usage coming from China, which is like Van 2.2 or Seed Dance from ByteDance. They release models and all those things. So VIA was not the only person giving us the video top quality.
Okay.
Sora was not
Mhm.
all the American models I'm talking. Sora, Vio, or anybody was what the only person. We have models from all the Chinese companies, which are very good and are very nice.
And
But again,
and
exact same personality differences there. You ask, you go talk to a North American and you ask for a reply, you get a polished reply. When you go to a Chinese guy, Alibaba, and you call him and ask for a reply, he's like, I know give, you take what I give, that kind of broken English.
yeah,
The same
yeah,
difference is there in the models.
that's a very good analogy.
No, not,
Yeah.
not just an analogy, even in animation. The animation depends on the data it got trained. The data that
Oh,
model got trained is more from local data. What they had social media, what they, because they are Chinese have cut themselves off with all the external data and they have their own ecosystem of internet. Within that, whatever data their model got trained, and whatever data they can take from the outsource, they train it. But nothing can compare to VO3 in terms of
obvious.
all the thing. But
Again,
still,
they have
it's
the
good
data.
to have a competitor, because without competitor, VO3 is like $3 per usage. This competitor is 10 cents per usage. Where is this? Where is that? You know what
There's
I'm
no
saying, right?
comparison.
And then if there is something you can really use, go for it. Use it. Why
Um,
spend so much money for something which is they are competing in every single thing. Like if you have a chat GPT 4 or 5, they have equally good open source model for you free, and it has no bars in the sense there are certain questions you ask in an American or a UK model, it doesn't give answer. It restricts itself due to regulations. Those models don't restrict, they give you answers. They'll give
yeah,
you answers for
because
anything.
they don't have restriction at all.
And they
And
also
somehow it's good and bad. Somehow it's good and bad both.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it depends on what you're using. Sometimes you want unrestricted answers, you get the unrestricted
yeah.
ones.
Let's don't go on that route and
Yeah. And making
okay, so let's jump into the workflow side of it. I know you have vast experience in the animation, and you are the early adopter of AI as well, and you grasp you understand that okay, this is something we have to understand, and you have to get into your workflow as well. Even if it's like from early days when you do the image generations and when you start making those changes in your workflow, and you start understanding that instead of choosing the right human for the job, why not use the right tool for the job and make it more productive as well. So this was your approach from very early stage, and then you start building up. So I want to show my viewers that if somebody wants to make a film, I'm not saying a film, like even like a short 10 minutes or 5 minutes, or even a 1 minute film, which is short drama, you can say, and you can put in any words. But what is the workflow for that?
sure. I'll explain it to you. Now, making a film is all 10-minute film or a 1-minute ad or like a half an hour documentary. They are all the same process. When it comes with the camera, they have the same process. Similarly, in AI, also without the camera, we still have the same process. So
Yeah,
let's take something intermediate, or I'll tell you the difference between ad commercial and a documentary. Documentary is like pretty casual. Ad commercial, we go very crispy, very tasty. It's like the starters of a food. It has to be super tasty, very spicy kind of. Whereas the ad commercial is more like a main course of the other document is the main course of the thing. Take it slow and take it wide. Now coming back to making, let's take this ad commercial making itself as a storytelling or a how to make a film kind of a thing.
yeah,
First is the idea. First is the idea, in the sense, what is the product or what is the idea that you're trying to convey to the client or the customer or the end user? What message you're trying to give to them, that you have to figure out what is the idea. Because with the idea, then you go to the any AI and you ask for an extra idea of how to present this idea to the guest, or how to present this idea to the end user viewers or a viewer community. It gives you some idea, like, we can tell a story like this, we can tell a story like this. Out of that, you have to choose the right story that you feel like it's going to work for you.
But even for the idea generation, how we can use AI for that? If we start
You
from
just
that.
have to tell that I'm a newbie, I'm not a great guy. You tell me how to, because the current generation AIs understands you very well. Like, it treats you like a baby and it takes you all the
Okay.
great process. So you always tell the AI, I'm aspiring to be this and I want this result, and it will give you that results. So just like how you're taking the podcast,
Shall we?
so
Shall we?
many
Shall
things.
we? Shall we?
It's just that, let's say you want to produce an ad for your podcast, right? Who is the end user of the podcast? Like this AI generated movie. It could be young aspiring artist or anybody. This is the genre. So you just tell the AI that this is my end client. This is the story I want to tell them. You give me a synopsis of what kind of story I can tell them. And so then it comes back with a story saying Ravi is a young aspiring guy who wants to look into AI generation. He was confused not to know where to go and what to search. And then he went into the YouTube and started looking. There was this podcast from Ravi, which was like showing all the different process from extra expert master classes and everything. That was so useful. There you go. He got all the information in one spot. Now he's producing movies. This is how the storytelling script goes on.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
now you have the storytelling script. Let's say you have 100 letter or a 200 letter or anything. Now with that, I ask you to take help from the AI, but my primary thing is the more ideas you generate emotionally, that is the best.
Okay.
This is
So the human.
because I have most of the ideas, I only polish my ideas in the AI. Whereas
Okay.
you have ideas, you polish it. If you go asking for fresh ideas from the AI, it will give, but you still have to have the judgment to judge whether it is good or not. If you don't do that, then you're not a quality producer. You know what I'm saying? People are watching your podcast, not the AI's podcast. So that's the difference. So your personality touch comes with what you feel is right and wrong. So now let's assume that after our validation, we have a script. So I would still consider it your script or my script, not the AI script, because we are validating. You're the lawyers who are validating the script. So be it. It's your script now. With the script, now you have to ask again, put the script back to it and say, read the script and give me a scene by scene or shot by shot breakups to convey this into a story. It will give you that. Again, you put the same shot by shot, scene by scene into it. Give me a voiceover script. It will give you that. And after it gives you the voiceover script, you take it to another thing like 11 Labs or something, which is one of the best successful voice generation. You add the script to it and you generate voiceovers. The voiceover is the fundamental thing that decides the timeline, the storytelling, and everything. Once you have the voiceover in your edit line, consider you have put that starting point, blueprint of the creation processes. That is where everything starts. Blueprint is done.
Yeah.
Now, with the blueprint you are having and the short description you are having, start generating ideas for the characters you want to use. Once you start generating the characters, keep that character as a reference and give back the image to the same AI saying, this is the character I like and this is the story I'm trying to tell short by short. Give me images for that. It will start giving you the images for that. Pick and choose and select. Now, in that area, you have to spend a lot of time because you have the choice of quality at that point. If you rush, if you like it, it's fine. If you don't like it, you still take what it comes, it's not quality. So keep choosing the right action shot or right frame or right storytelling and keep generating the images that is close enough to give you what you feel like and it's giving you. That is your real taste. If you're like a director sitting and saying, okay, this shot I think is going to work. This shot I think. So you just now have a sequence of images lined up on the audio. Now you keep watching it again and again to finalize as a single storytelling comic strip, video comic strip.